Hi, I am Claire. Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I am going to be doing a house for the Mystical Mother Challenge. This is a challenge in The Sims 4 created by SimSav. It's similar to the 100 Baby Challenge, except for it's with occult Sims, and so we are starting off in the basement. We are in the room for the child of Father Winter. So I tried to make this all kind of Christmassy, kind of wintry, since it is Father Winter's child. Tried to have lots of like snowflakes in this room. And each room of the Sims does have like their own like themed door, but since there's no doors in the holiday pack, I just put a wreath on the door, and I thought that was a fun detail for this room. It still kind of gives that vibe. And so if you're a little bit confused on what I am talking about, the Mystical Mother Challenge is a challenge where you create a human sim of your choice, and then you have them have children with the different occults in the Sims, and this is also including the Flower Bunny, Patchy the Scarecrow, and Father Winter. So we are just kind of finishing up the room for the Father Winter sim. I wanted there to be a fireplace because I thought that would be fitting. But I'm also worried that the sim or the fireplace would catch on fire, so I added the window from the high school years pack that opens up, so if in case of emergency they can go out the window and up the ladder. And so we do also have a mermaid room in the basement. I wanted their room to have like an own private like pool area, but I didn't want to take up space on the lot upstairs, and so it is a basement pool, which I think is fun. Don't really see those a lot where I am. Don't really make those a lot. And so this was a fun room to do. So we are using mostly the items from the Island Living pack just because it has all the mermaid, it comes with mermaids, and so it made sense to use the mermaid or the items that came with the pack. There are certain packs you do need to complete the challenge. Vampires, Get to Work, Island Living, Seasons, Realm of Magic, University, Garden or Romantic Garden, Nifty Knitting, Outdoor Retreat, City Living, and Spa Day. So I did try to use those packs, and I did use some other packs as well. If you're interested in this challenge, I will have the link for the rules and stuff down in the description. SimSav also has some custom content in her linked in her rules that are suggested. And so now we are in the kids or the vampire's bedroom, and so I was like toying with not having coffin bed, having a coffin bed. I do end up having a coffin bed, and having the pipe organ was a must in my opinion. And so we end up going with this kind of medium, like fancy coffin. It's not like super fancy, but it's like the middle fanciness. And so this bedroom is all decked out in the vampire stuff. I just make it a little bit bigger to fit a wardrobe, and I do realize that the picture is over the wardrobe's over the picture, but I do just end up moving the picture to be in a bit better location. And the vampires do have their own bathroom. I just kind of decorated each room for one sim because this game or this challenge is very adjustable, because you're probably not going to be having vampires like in your house that frequent, but maybe you're just like speedrunning this challenge and you just need a whole bunch of rooms at once. And so now we are on the main level of the house, and I do have a like cooler, like like kind of like a store cooler by the toddler's room, so if they're hungry, they can easily get the food. I purposely put it next to the next to the toddler's room, so it is easy for them to get. And so we are just going to be using these countertops from the um, Dream Home Decorator pack, and so we are just going to be adding an island. I actually do change this island piece to be from the Island Living because I was trying to use packs where I knew they would have the items, like for example the exterior, the stone is from vampires, the siding is from the werewolves pack, and so I wanted to make sure all of the big occults are represented in this like house, and so we are just going to be kind of trying to find a better centerpiece than just a giant plant, and so we are just going to be moving these counter pieces out of the way and alt placing them onto the counter, and so we are just going to be kind of making it look like a little study nook, a little bit like a drop and go place, but I do also have like a homework area in the office, but I'll talk more about that when we get to that area. And so we are just kind of extending the kitchen. This is definitely a chef's kitchen. Maybe these Sims like to cook together, and so there is plenty of room for that. So we are just going to be adding some upper storage, and so I guess you probably do also need the werewolves pack. I don't think the SimSav has updated the occult motherhood challenge since that pack has come out. I have first heard about this pack or this challenge when with Kelsey in PGK doing her like occult 100 baby challenge, and so that inspired me to try to make my own version of a house for that. And so that's kind of where this like idea came from, and I wanted this dining room to kind of be like the exterior of the house where like each occult had a chair to represent them. And so we have a chair from the vampires, a chair from the realm of magic, a chair from the island living, and a chair from the outdoor retreat because we needed that for some reason. I haven't personally played this challenge, but I was just kind of basing this house off of the rules and the packs required, and so we are just going to be figuring out a rug for the dining room and kind of going to be working on a little bit of a coat rack area now. So I wanted there to be like a coat rack area, kind of like a drop zone, even though this is like the third drop zone I've made. This is for like a big family, and so we are just going to be adding some decorations onto the table, kind of keeping it into a fall theme. I do want to do a fall house or like an autumn inspired house. Let me know if you have any like ideas of like a style I could do down in the comments. I was going to do that a little earlier this year, but I wanted to also have like a occult month on my channel, and so we are just going to be working on some decorations. I keep going upstairs for the flower bunny child's room. I wanted there to be some like pre-made rooms, I guess, for each of these like occults, and very wanted to make it very changeable, and so we are now just working on the on the living room. What is this room called? It's not really a room, it's open concept. And so we have a couch from the high school years pack, which I love. The blanket tossed over the side. I thought that looked really cozy, and I do have a basket of like pillows and blankets, but I do switch it out for a blanket basket from the Eco Lifestyle pack, and so that was the only item I was using from Cottage Living. And yeah, so we are now kind of working on the skill building area. Most of it's in this room that I'll show you next, but it does kind of overflow into the like living room space. And so we are just going to be going and kind of doing a little bit of rearranging. I wasn't exactly sure. This is kind of a tiny space I given myself, and I also was telling myself you need to have this archway, and so we are just going to be rearranging just a little bit and trying to make it all fit in. But I really do like how it turns out at the end, and so we are just going to be adding the final details into the living room, and just going to be adding a few more details into the dining room. And so I wanted to have like a layered rug look in the living room, just to kind of go with like there's like so many different personalities and different styles in this house. And so now we are in the office, and I'm working on a little bit of a study area for your Sims. So there's 2 computers, and then there's 4 spots to do homework. I thought this would be kind of fun and useful to just like have all your Sims go into this room for school or homework. But I do also have a desk in the non-adult children's room, and the reason why I did this is just so I wouldn't have to worry about putting a desk in every single room. It could all just be focused on one area, especially because whenever I tell my Sims to do homework, they usually do it where I don't tell them to do it. They usually do it like in the bathroom, in the kitchen, and I'm like, I made this pretty desk, this pretty workspace for you, but you're doing it not where I want you to. And so that's funny sometimes, but I thought it would just make more sense to have it all in one area. And so I just added Patchy the Scarecrow outside in the backyard, so when you're ready to have Patchy's children, he's there and ready for you. I don't have any like gates on the exterior, so if he is bothering you, I would suggest just locking the back door for everybody but household, and then he is trapped in the backyard. So then if you want to not have your stuff get destroyed, he won't do that. And so we are just going to be adding a yoga area by the window. Like I said, I was trying to have a lot of skill building items in this room. I have like instruments lined up, I have an art easel, I have a woodworking table. They're all very necessary, all like a creative hub in this area. And so we are just going to be finding some pictures to put on these walls and just kind of tying up the loose ends in this room. And so I wanted to use things from the Get to Work pack because I don't usually add things from the Get to Work pack. It's kind of like a miss pack in my mind, in my opinion. And so we are just going to be adding a wall of awards. If you watch Kelsey and PGK do her YouTube video series about this challenge, she likes having her birth certificates on one wall, and she's also been doing a wall of all of the Sims that impregnate her Sims. And so he kind of get inspired by that, and so I have that on the wall. And so we're just kind of making a little seating area in the dining room area, or kitchen dining room, just so it's easier on your toddlers, so they can eat food and not have to walk across the house. And so we are just going to be adding this chair from the high school years pack, and going to be adding a garbage can because that garbage can is super pretty, but I haven't used it yet, and so I wanted to use it. And so I would also recommend you use the money trash can. I haven't done the Mystical Motherhood challenge, but I have done the 100 baby challenge, and that does help you get money. So if you want to give yourself a little cheat and use that, I think that's okay. It doesn't say anything in the rules about it. And so we are just going to be going into the toddler's room, and I wanted to add some fun things, trying to make it a little bit generic in the toddler's room, just so the Sims, I don't know, just like it's a general area. There's just one toddler room, and so then when they become kids and teens, you can move them into their designated occult rooms or non-occult room. And so we are just going to try to make this room very playful and just kind of make it kid friendly, although I did want to add some cracks and werewolf scratches. Maybe that's the two current Sims living in this room, and so they got into a fight, and that's why there's a crack on the wall. And so we are just going to be adding a few more decorations and going to be going into the main suite, the primary suite, the mother's suite. And so I did purposely have these both of these rooms on the main floor, one for the toddlers to be easier for them to get food, and then for the the mom's room is just easier for people to come in and come out. And so we are just going to be adding this bed, or adding a bed from the high school years pack. And so this room's kind of pink and white. It's very calming. I wanted it to be calming, just so your Sims life are crazy, and I thought this colors would be calming. And so this room does end up being pretty big, but it does also have like its own like meditation spot. So if you do need more room, I would maybe suggest making this room a little bit smaller. Although that might be a little bit tricky because it's also like next to the stairs, and so that might mess it up a little bit. So we are just going to be adding some side tables, and I really do stick to this purple and white theme, and so we are just going to be working on the baby area in the primary bedroom. I wanted the bassinets to be close to the mom, so if they're bothering, she can quickly go and help them. And so we are just going to be now working on the ensuite. And so this is kind of a little bit of a weird shape, but it will get the job done. And so we are just going to be adding some necessary items. I'm sorry, this bathroom's just has anything and everything you need. But in other news, I guess I can talk about all of the big sim updates, with like the Sims 5 being announced and the baby update. I know this video is going to be coming out a week after all of this has been announced, but it's like still fresh in my mind, and it's just kind of crazy in a way that like we're going to be getting the Sims 5 like sooner than later. Well, probably not like sooner, but like it's like officially in development. And so the baby update also, it's just like we're getting actual babies, which I'm kind of I'm going to be quoting Little Simsy on this. It's just like, this is going to make the 100 baby challenge a whole lot more crazier. And so we are just going to be getting a whole bunch of new content, And I like how they said that in the the baby or infant update is going to be coming, or they're expecting in early 2023, and that was funny to me. And so when I watched that part, my mom, she's like, Claire, what happened? And I'm like, I'll tell you in a second. And so we are just going to be now going on to the third level of the house. So this area of the house, it has a room for the flower bunny, your non-occult sims, your werewolf sims, and your spellcaster sims. So this first bedroom is for the flower bunny child. Wow, I'm getting tired. This video is kind of long. Probably should have given you a bit warning, but you probably also saw the time before you clicked. And so the flower bunny, I wanted it to obviously have flowers. I wanted it to feel springy and happy. And so we are just going to be finding some pictures of flowers. And so we just replaced that one with butterfly. And I wanted this room and the room next to it to be easy to switch around if you have like a different occult sim child or another like child that is needing like their own special room. Maybe these rooms could be one for a teen occult or teen non-occult and a child non-occult. And so we are just going to be adding some pile of laundry. I thought that'd be kind of funny just because it's like maybe the same as spring cleaning. And so this room could also work well for the children of Patchy. And so we are just going to be working on the non-occult sim room. This room just has 2 bedrooms, and so it just, or not 2 bedrooms, 2 beds, and it's just kind of small, a little bit awkward, but they do have their own bathroom. I thought that would be nice for them, even though they might not be occult sims or children of Fallen Winter and the Flower Bunny. I thought it would be nice to for them to have their own bathroom, so it's just a 3x1 bathroom. And so we are just going to be adding some more details into the office area and going to be adding some flowers on the table. And so we are just going to be adding a rug, and this is just a pretty simple bedroom in here, trying to make it generic but interesting in a way, just because it's just like all these sims are pretty well unique, but like these sims could be anything since they don't have occult parents. They have more of a choice on what they want to be, and so we are just going to be adding some decorations into this room. So I have their own Blarfy, and I have some like colored pictures, and just going to be making it have like try to like have a personality, but like still have it have like a little bit of like ability to change, if you know what I mean. And so now we are just going to be working on this like seating area space. And so I have like toy area just because there wasn't really that much space anywhere else, but I really wanted to add the bucket of toys. And so we are just going to be adding a few more items into this room. And I do also add the tragic clown picture. That's one of the sims you need to have a child with. And so the sims that you didn't need to have a child with like right away, or like you could like wait for that to happen, I wanted to add those things to make it there in a way. And so now we are in the robot child's bedroom. That sounds kind of weird, but having a child with the robot from university is part of the challenge. And so now I think we're now in the werewolf's bedroom, and I thought that would be fun for like the werewolves to have their own balcony. Okay, never mind. We're finishing up the room in here. This video is like way too long, and I'm trying to do this all in one sitting, so I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little bit out of breath compared to at the beginning of the video, but we're almost done. If you don't want to stay to the screenshots, there, you don't have to. I'll post a few of them on Instagram, and so we are just going to be adding a few like gaming posters and a few like nerdy posters in a way, or like science posters, and into the robots room. And now we are going to be going into the spellcaster's bedroom, and so I know a cauldron wasn't necessary to have in this room, but did that stop me? No. And so the cauldron takes up most of this area, but it's kind of in the corner out of the way, and so we do add some like a potion stand and dresser. And since I didn't use the chair anywhere else, I wanted to use it in this room, and so we are just going to be going and I just trying to put as much Gorilla Magic stuff in each of, or in this room, and then now we are going to be going into the werewolf bedroom, and since this pack came with loft bed, I wanted to have a loft bed in this room, mostly just because the other occults don't have loft beds, and so I wanted at least one loft bed in this room. And so we do have a little bit of a workout area for them on this balcony. I thought that would be kind of fun. Wanted to use the punching bag and weightlifting from this pack, and so we are just going to be kind of making this place look a little grungy, dirty, a little beaten up. I thought that was really fun. Also using this poster with like the sim and then like the wolf in the background. I thought that was really cool. And so it's going to be adding a few scratch marks. Maybe the Sims lost control and scratched the wall. And so we are getting close to the end of the video. I remember when I was doing this room, I'm being like, this is the last room I have to do. This built house took me 3 separate recordings to do, and so it was just like a relief to be done. And so we are getting close to the screenshots, so please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I post new videos every single Tuesday, and also make sure to follow me over on Instagram. My ID is the same on The Sims and on YouTube, green_rose_sims. So I hope you all have an amazing week. Make sure to have a good Halloween, and I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!